Hey guys, we're just gonna start off in around 2 minutes time to get everyone on Zoom and YouTube as well. Sorry about a few emails that I sent, just some technical issues with a few links from YouTube. So yeah, we're just gonna start off in just a few minutes time. Just gonna give one more minute for everyone else to join in. Sorry, I had to mute. Sorry, if you would like to just tell me about yourself or tell everyone else about your social media handles and so on, so you can connect with one another. I'll also follow you all from the Wishy account as well, if you include your Instagram or Twitter handles. So you can do that on the chat on Zoom or on YouTube as well. And I'll go back to it and send it to my social media manager so we can chat with you as well. Also, everyone's currently sharing everything to panelists only, so I can only see it. So anyone who shared something already, just reshare it to all attendees and panelists, so everyone can actually see it rather than just me. Okay, cool. We can start off now. Again, if anyone is sending a message, just make sure it's to everyone on the everyone. You can select panelists and attendees rather than just panelists, so you can actually connect with more people and just so more people can actually see your handles as well. Okay, cool. We'll start off now. So today's webinar is based on social media and marketing, especially marketing part when it comes to you as a creative freelancer and what you can do to make sure you put your efforts there to create those leads happening for your business, basically. So I'm quickly going to intro Wishu and what we do. My name is Hubert. I'm sure most of you probably attended one of our webinars already, either myself or any other team members from our group or partner groups. I'm head of community and co-founder of Wishy, and Wishy is basically a community and a creative marketplace for creative agencies and creative companies to book creative talent, hire them, manage them, and basically use our dashboard to basically control the entire process of the project. For freelancers, we offer quite a few things for free. You can create a free account, a free portfolio account, online portfolio, and so on. Offer your services. and connect with one another, connect with clients, and basically apply to any project briefs that have been posted on the Wishy marketplace. You can also get paid for Wishy Pay, which is you receive the money on time, and you don't have to change late payments basically. Also, you can actually collect all your clients' reviews in one place. So if you are someone who has over 5 years of experience or above, you can actually contact the team and ask us to basically import any of your client reviews from Google or your website as well. And also, as I said as well, apply to open listings as well. So today's topics are going to be covered towards these 4 areas. So number 1, USB, what is the authentic self in your business? Social media, which is hacks, tips, platforms, and tools. And then website as well, and cold emails. I'm going to be quite precise when it comes to the social media part, because this webinar is centered around social media, but website and cold emails will be quite detailed as well. This webinar is recorded, as I saw a few people ask me this, and it will be sent out with all the resources and everything else. So please don't worry if you have to leave or so, because this webinar can actually be around 10 to 20 minutes longer than expected because of the amount of slides that I put into this webinar. So the first thing is basically, what is your USP basically? So USP is basically what makes your creative business unique and something that sells to your client basically. So unique selling point. So every single creative business and any creative freelancer has to have a USP in place. That's the only way you can actually make sure that your client comes to you and stays with you and recommends you for everyone else. And this is basically the process of what you have to go through to make sure that you kind of beat the competition out there, because we all know that there's thousands and hundreds of thousands of competition just in London. And basically what your main differentiation is and should be is quality and reassurance on the expectations of customers' values. So basically, how to find your specific USPs, unique selling points. There is quite, I would say, quite a different approach when it comes to specifically knowing how you as a creative business, with your creative services, can be different and authentic to everyone else who basically is there in the market, let's say competition in the market. And that comes from specifically targeting the right audience and the right clients, and making sure that you differentiate yourself from the competitive side, and then work on your own perspectives. And this becomes basically developing your own target audience. Basically, what specifically do you know about that target audience? How do you approach it when it comes to operating with them? Basically, not only marketing to them, but also talking to them, approaching them, and then basically closing a deal. And I wrote this kind of expression, which is, in other words, are they looking for someone basically that will help them save time, give them more expertise, be it have a more trustworthy supplier, or something else? Basically, what I recommend to every single freelancer is basically consult their clients, previous clients, and ask them what approach do you think you took when it comes to like reaching out to them, or actually them booking your service. And that's the easiest way you kind of find out from other people what your unique selling point is, if you don't have a clue basically. And you will see why they chose you instead of 100 other people in the application or something like that. So then you kind of build onto that and sell it to the audience, which is your clients and any future clients, or why they should actually pick you instead of anyone else, or your service or your product. And that's really important to make sure you do list out reasons why your service and your products are the key for the basically for the client to choose from, because those will be helping you to market yourself. Without not knowing your USP, unique selling points, you will not know how to market yourself and you will be lost. This is how it usually works. If you do spend some time building your USP, it kind of comes together as a package almost. You know and precisely what specific tactics you can go with, what specific audiences are the best in value when it comes to, say, like booking you or ticket value and so on. So these kind of specific areas that help you develop your USP should determine how you can market yourself as a freelancer and basically succeed within the market. And I would say definitely try and talk to your previous clients, ask them for feedback, ask them why they chose you instead of anyone else, and build on that. And that will basically push you and your services above everyone else's, because you can market those services in a way that, oh, this is unique. Everyone books me based on these and these selling points, unique selling points. You should do that as well, because I'm amazing at it, and this is the proof. This presentation is kind of different than any other ones that I had, because I always refrain from using graphs and tables. Or if I use statistics, I'll use them more in a verbal kind of way rather than presentational way. Today I added 3 graphs, so you'll see one at the end of the presentation as well. This graph is mostly, these 2 graphs are mostly based on what are the trends and what are the key areas and key channels that most businesses, this includes creative business, includes freelancers, includes normal businesses, find a way to find leads and find a way to best market themselves to get leads out there, basically. This says 2019. The 2020 one is not released yet, but it is what I seen a few days ago. It's pretty much the same. Nothing has really changed. So you should still kind of like look into this in the same way as 2020 and approach with 2021. So social media marketing is pretty much number one. A lot of people, I would say, like, for a lot of creative freelancers, you should notice that social media is not the best way of communications or the best way of marketing, because a lot of times it doesn't provide you with leads as a lot of other people do. So it's much more important to basically make sure you accurately see what platforms actually work for you. And we'll go into those kind of things specifically later on in the presentation. But you should definitely like see which ones actually work for you, which ones don't work for you. The ones that don't work for you, leave them. Try to focus on the ones that do work for you, the ones that do kind of monetize your services and earn you some revenue and some cash, rather than the ones that just give you pain and exhaustion, basically. Just refrain from doing that, because it's enough already that you probably put so much hours and time into your work already in building those services up, but also you have to market yourself. So I think the simplest way is to basically follow the 3-step approach, which is going for social media, making sure you pick the right platforms, do email marketing, which is cold outreaches, which we'll go into as well, and basically website personalization, making sure your website is up to date, optimized, and strategically out there for the purpose of the client to find you. And the tactics basically to achieve lead generation is number 1 is email marketing. And then number 2 is content and video marketing, which is social media. And then social media, I mean, like, you can see social media marketing here, but this is more ad specific. Content or video marketing is more like, let's say, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and so on. And then search engine optimization, which comes from your website alone. So the first thing we're going to go into today is social media. So social media is probably one of those topics that a lot of creative freelancers struggle with, and it doesn't work for a lot of freelancers, but it works for other amount of freelancers. So I would say like almost like 50-50 approach. 50% of the freelancers get leads from it. It works really effectively for them, and 50% of the freelancers, it doesn't work for them. They try it, it doesn't work, they don't bother with it anymore. And I think it's a fair amount of percentage, I think, as social media just doesn't work for everyone in the market. So I definitely would say the number one key thing is to know your platforms and to know what would work for your business alone. So a lot of times, a lot of people probably register for every single one of them and be like, oh, I'll just put some effort into pushing content and see if it works. A lot of times it doesn't work because there's no strategic approach, there's no unique selling points, and there's no, no different approaches when it comes to knowing specifically how to market to the right clients, like how to market for an agency to find you, how to market for a production company to find you, or creative company to find you. Most of the times what it leads to is your peers finding you or following you, liking your content, leading to no leads. A precise, let's say, a profession would be a graphic designer or a photographer. If you say like you're a photographer, but you're not a personal photographer, you're just, let's say, a creative industry photographer for editorial shoots, magazine shoots, etc. But all the leads that you get from social media probably would be specifically personal use. So people who want to build their portfolios, they would just signal towards, like, let's say, taking your service. But you might be not a photographer that would like to do that. You would like to just focus on your portfolio based on the industry, and then just work for companies rather than just individuals itself. So social media sometimes doesn't work like that. A lot of times it'll be the peers who would be reaching out, talking to you, and so on. So, and that comes from not building a clear audience reach, and from the clear, unique setting point, and the clear, basically, perspectives of who to target to and market to with the content that you push out. Sorry, if anyone leaves any messages in the chat, I'll check them after, because I can't really go in and out. If you do have any questions, just put them in the Q&A box, and then I'll be more or less be able to see most of them. So number one thing, which is generating leads and boosting conversions for your social media. So, like, let's say posting your content is a strategy that should be done really, really specifically. You can't just push out anything you have and anything you would like people to see. You have to push out things that your client will like. And your client will interact with, either save it or like it or reshare it. Then it's your opportunity to basically go ahead and DM them or reply to their comments and so on. So the key perspective is just to share specific lead generation content that will boost the conversion and increase sales. Some key things that you can actually look into, which is, it could be like, let's say, as simple as including specific links, making specific context, if you're someone, let's say, a graphic designer, And I wouldn't recommend doing sales or anything on your services, but if you say like you have a specific product out there, or your passive income is around providing services such as webinars and courses for the upcoming graphic design generation and freelancing, you could basically promote it with contents or host live videos to make announcements of those kind of situations. And I would also make sure that how I would position uh, my post on Instagram, it will be attached towards how would a client would like them to see, not specifically the position them to look amazing and stylish, or your kind of eccentric and aesthetic, sorry, and image of your brand. Obviously follow those kind of guidelines, but focus on what the client would like to see to make sure it boosts sales and boost the lead generation. So those kind of things, such as like making posts, they always have to be leading towards you selling that product or service through the social platforms and social profiles. So this is basically just the start of the social media thing, which is basically make sure anything you post is based on lead generation to boost conversion and increase sales. Because just posting anything will not boost any conversions, it will not give you any sales, and it's just basically time wasting in some senses. Sorry if sometimes I'm a bit too strong with points. I just like to kind of be specific when it comes to specific platforms and specific tactics when it comes to marketing. So as I said as well, determining what social platforms actually work for you and which ones you should actually market on. So number one is Facebook, which is basically, there's quite a lot of opportunities on Facebook, and it's quite a lot of ways to actually find potential clients and kind of engage with the audience as well. So you don't only get opportunities, but you also get audience as well, which is divided by clients and divided by freelancers. So you can actually reach out to anyone, market yourself to anyone, and it actually creates double opportunity sometimes. And it gives you the access to the network that you actually need. And then Instagram, which is basically a highly visual platform, and it's basically a perfect place to basically showcase any kind of visual portfolio that you have around your brand personality, or kind of specific projects that you work on, any behind the scenes stuff, and so on. And then LinkedIn, which is a great networking platform, and it basically allows you to showcase any expertise that you have, and it also allows you to connect with the key clients in the industry that would basically hire you. And Twitter, which is a great platform to share content and connect with other kind of industry leaders. And this is quite key. And I'll obviously go in each one of these platforms after this slide individually, and I'll talk about more of how like each of these platforms actually help you as a creative freelancer in marketing terms. So when it comes to Facebook, Facebook is best for brand awareness and advertisements. So you can you can basically join groups, and through that you can target the market and industry when it comes to either looking at posts from clients that they post on groups, or any kind of relevant freelancers that they have. A lot of freelancers actually post jobs for the clients. If let's say they need 2 graphic designers, they either like ask their friends, or they know any peers that they know, or they would post on Facebook groups or so on. And it basically is a great opportunity to basically kind of like see post, apply to stuff like that, and then also connect with people and advertise your business and your social medias as well. And then participate in groups and start building value onto what you offer basically and what services you offer. And why I added Facebook ads is basically to look into the full growth on Facebook, and that only leads through Facebook ads. I said here, look at running a few Facebook ads targeting clients. And I said only use Facebook ads if you have the budget to spend some cash on acquisitions. Do you not spend Facebook? Do you not create Facebook ads if you do not have money, extra money to spend on acquisitions, and you just basically kind of base everything on organic approach? That's completely fine. That's what a lot of companies do, just specifically target organic approaches. A lot of companies, a lot of freelancers, I see most of them, 70%. But a lot of people do use Facebook ads, and this is the most effective way to use ads. So like from any ads there is out, any platforms, I would use Facebook, because that would lead to like cheapest and probably highest conversion towards clients there is as well. So if you are someone who would be looking to do Facebook ads, I would say build them on owning around case studies that you worked on. So any companies you worked for, or any kind of case study specifically that you worked for before, and this usually leads to the best conversion. So this can be basically a blog post that you have, so linking towards, let's say, how you the entire process of your workflow, why you're so unique to it, why did the client actually hire you, have some testimonials, reviews, and so on. This sells so well to clients, especially on Facebook and Instagram. So build that on, or I would say also maybe have, if you're someone, let's say a makeup artist or illustrator or photographer who's quite established, works, has a few publications, been mentioned in a few publications, I'll use that as well as a leverage for your case studies, marketing, and ads. The next one is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, as we all probably know, is best for relationship building, connecting via groups. A lot of people don't really know that LinkedIn groups don't exist, but LinkedIn groups are actually probably one of the key areas where you can actually find a lot of work and a lot of connections in the fields that you're in. So check them out. It would definitely help you. And then connecting with the right people. So the right people for the companies that you want to work for or with. Similar to Facebook, as I said here, it has an abundance of groups for just about anything. Depending on the group permissions, you can share content and engage with the group members. And basically as yourself, know your business. So as yourself, a lot of people, probably all the freelancers that I know, they don't really make specific separate pages on LinkedIn for their business. They just have a personal profile, which is basically the best source of marketing, because that way you can actually approach the right people and talk to them personally rather than through businesses. Also, as a freelancer, you'll find a vast amount of connections out there. Basically, you can actually use LinkedIn Jobs. That's a really great way to basically find any freelance opportunities out there for you to connect with the clients as well. So basically, a lot of times, let's say if you don't want to work specifically apply for that position that is outlined in there, a lot of times you can see the key people to contact on LinkedIn Jobs for that company, and you can actually message them saying, "Oh, this is my portfolio. If you have any positions open, I would love to chat," and so on and so on and so on. A key advice, because I mentioned Facebook ads, I wanted to mention LinkedIn, which is don't spend money on LinkedIn ads. It's too expensive and it never work or hardly work, and it's just so expensive. Instagram. So basically, Instagram is best for natural looking media, behind the scenes, and portfolio kind of centric advertisements. So it's one of those platforms that businesses may have a harder time justifying the value that they put in. to build the right audience. So that by that I mean, a lot of times when I talked about the building an Instagram profile and connecting with like-minded peers instead of connecting with the clients that you require to make that acquisition happen and the sell happen. A lot of times the justification in time can be quite annoying because you might spend a lot of time, you might aim for the clients that you want to work for, but you get just basically the like-minded peers to like your content and follow you, which don't necessarily lead to any conversions or any kind of growth opportunities. So if you don't have the visual appealing kind of images or short videos to share, I think just try to aim for any kind of other platform, which is like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, the dots, and so on. And also remember to use hashtags within the post so people outside of your immediate kind of network and circle can easily find them as well. And I would say this one I would want to put actually number one, which is basically when you start your Instagram account, don't go ahead and follow every like-minded peer. Go ahead and follow all the right clients, all the right agencies, production companies, creative aid companies. Comment on their post, reach out to them, DM them, and so on. Reshare that post. And this is how you grab their attention a lot of times, especially the social media managers who can easily redirect you to the recruitment team and so on. And I also said that for advice, invest some time in creating reels. It's something that works pretty, really well. And Instagram algorithm is actually really picking up on this. And you can easily do this by showing behind the scenes images, your work process, what is your unique setting points, and so on, and share it with the teams and so on. Twitter is basically best to connecting with clients, actually messaging clients, and keeping them updated with your work, any portfolio updates, blogs, and any features and publications they have coming out. It's a great place to start, kind of like figuring out how to get social media clients, because on Twitter is where I would say mostly find them, and more easily find them than any other kind of media. Instead of, by that I mean Instagram. Compare Instagram and Twitter now. So I would definitely say it's much more easier to find clients on Twitter than Instagram. So anyone who is not really portfolio centric or imagery or video based centric, I would definitely suggest going for Twitter and seeing how that works for you. Try following and keeping updated with the right audience, DM the right people, reshare their tweets, comment on the tweets, DM them, and so on. And this normally works really well. Pro tip is basically not everyone you post, not everything you post is going to be seen, depending on how often you're posting. So you can actually recycle old tweets a few days or weeks after they originally go out, basically. So you can actually recycle it, the ones that didn't really perform well, you can actually retweet them, reuse them, and so on. So you don't have to spend way too much time on creating new content and pushing out new stuff. Also, I put a few tips on how to find clients on Twitter, which is number one, search for potential clients who are in need of your service by using the search bar. And this is a lot of times when it comes to hashtags. So graphic design jobs, photography jobs, and so on. And you can actually see the right people who actually do have that. You can actually see all the job posts and so on. Then reach out to the free potential clients every week. I would say this is a strategy. Reaching out to free potential clients every week. I would say much more than free a week, but a lot of people obviously they don't want to spam people. So I would say free is good enough when it comes to companies, to start kind of building a relationship between them. And then when you formally kind of form a real connection with people, drop them an email, ask them, have a Zoom call, ask them to look at your portfolio, and so on. And then basically when you and your client have finished working together, tweet about their content every now and then and reshare it as well to your followers, just basically giving them a bit of support. And that's what they will basically appreciate and do the same. Yeah, as I said, there's going to be another graph. I added like another graph about based on personalization and marketing efforts in the personalization specific area. So a lot of times, a lot of people make their content quite similar and quite like, I think, how will I picture it? Quite a lot of like just basically just normal kind of way, quite straightforward, following the standards, descriptions of the standards, and so on, so on, so on. What the new trends and areas that a lot of people can improve on is based on what they post and how they communicate whilst posting those kind of things and content, social media stuff, and so on. A lot of times the marketing efforts nowadays needs to be focused and centered on personalization, which making sure all the content that you post is personalized to the audience that you want to target and acquire. So make sure you basically anything you post on social media, it links to the client that you want to acquire and wants to reach out to you and talk to you and for them to basically hire you and so on. So a lot of times as well, when your content is too specific, not too specific, too generic, and too basically, it basically targets everyone, it might not lead to the best kind of generations of leads. So, and it basically kind of lowers the quality as well of the leads. So make sure it's basically personalized and make sure that you have enough marketing efforts out there for the right clients you want to acquire. And this leads to basically how to set your social media goals in 3 steps. And it leads to quality, audit, and making sure you basically have all the steps in place to lead with your kind of creative business. So the 3 steps are basically, one is conduct a social media audit, which is quite straightforward. I actually have a template for you guys to use. So you put that in an email, and it actually should be here in the slides as well, which you'll be able to click on and download, so you can actually conduct your own social media audit to see what already happened, how many people like save your work, how many people interact with your work, and so on and so on and so on. And this is really important as a first step towards you precisely having a framework in place and a kind of like a target approach of who you're going to target when it comes to social media, what are the important factors in the social media, and basically how will you make sure this is set up for you to maximize the efforts. So number one, conduct social media audit. This will help you with existing social media accounts and programs, and basically you will kind of like gather them in one place with all the specific basically levels of performance, and you basically see the baseline of all the social medias and how well they perform and where you can actually target this as well. A lot of times I would say don't base it on followers, base it on how many basically leads happened or how many people actually reached out to you, followed you when it comes to clients, and so on. I would base it on those kind of acquisition methods. So there's a free template here, which you'll be able to track everything on. So you'll be able to download it when I send this presentation over. So next, start to think about what's really important for you to achieve your social media goals. Will increasing your likes lead to real business value? So those decision factors are really, really important. And basically you have to outline them and see what specifically you need to do to make sure the right audience is there And then basically how can you not lead to miscommunication and miss audience specific criteria. This basically could come from you choosing the right framework. I think a lot of people probably think, oh, I don't want to waste time. I don't want to spend some time on framework, but you have to treat your freelancing business as a business. So you do have to go through frameworks, and you do have to go through specific goal setting ideas and basically audits and so on. That's the only way that you make sure that you are authentic, and you make sure that you have set up your unique selling points, and that you know specifically in how to target the right audience. And this would help you specifically know what you're doing wrong, what you're doing good, and what you can actually excel with. And this will help you build your social media goals and basically support your business in the long run. And two approaches that you can actually go for is SMART goal framework and OKR goal framework. I'll include links for you to read more on these two. I didn't have time to include specifically separate ones, but these two frameworks are the key to look at for freelancers, and it will help you set out your business goals, especially your social media goals, and so on, that you can actually make sure your entire audience is built around specific clients they want to target and specific ambitions they want to achieve, which should be obviously lead generation and acquisitions. And obviously, there was a lot to talk about social media, but there has to be a balance in between. You can't just start at all the social media accounts and think you have time for all of them. That won't happen. A lot of times you will base your work on 70%, let's say, work, 30% or 20% marketing efforts. And a lot of times you don't really have those 20 to 30% of marketing efforts in there. So you probably have like 5% or 10% left of your time to actually market your services and find new clients. And by doing this, you actually need specific tools in place to help you this with. So I know a lot of times people don't want to spend money, and that's obviously understood. I definitely think the best way to do this is basically go for the cheap models or the freemium models, such as Buffer, which actually will help you schedule your content in advance and make sure it basically adds all the necessary stuff that you would like to share with your clients, let's say a month in advance. So you can spend like 2 days a week, no, 2 days a month or something like that, adding all your content into Buffer, and basically posting it all over the social medias, which is LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, and so on. And I definitely recommend having Buffer or Hootsuite or TweetDeck in place, and this will just help you a lot to focus on your services and your work and your communication with clients, and basically not bother you that much with social media and the efforts of communication as well. Hootsuite is basically, I think it's the most expensive one from all of them, but it's if you have, I think it's $29.99 or $19.99. I can't really say it, to be honest, 100% now, but it's something that actually helps a lot, not just from posting and content creation, posting, but also monetization. It helps you monitor all your accounts, all the things that you publish, and give you basic reporting. If you actually are reaching out the right audience, what audience are you reaching? What can you change from these kind of things, and so on. And then TweetDeck is basically similar to History, but it allows you to schedule tweets and set up columns, monitor mentions, lists, and so on. I'm not sure if this one's free 100%, but it's definitely something that we use a lot, and it helps. Sorry, I can't open Q&A for some reason. I saw quite a few. So now we're just gonna move into website. And I wanted to quickly go through website. I think hopefully we actually have time yet. So being found by clients via web is quite important. And it's something that I think every single freelancer should have, because it's something that is out there that it can work for everyone. So it's not like, like Instagram. Oh, if you don't have a portfolio based website, it's not, if you don't have a portfolio based, image based portfolio or video based portfolio, it's not going to work or something like that. With web, it works for everyone's portfolio, and anyone can be found by any client they wish to be found by. So that comes with you investing more time to optimize your website and making sure that your website has the right material and the right key accounts that will help you make sure you get found by those clients. So number one is basically nailing your keywords. So what keywords does your client use to find freelancers? So you can think about it like, oh, if you're a photographer, so my client will probably Google our London-based photographers, London-based makeup photographers, stylist, London-based stylist, Manchester-based stylist, near me or something like that. Those are the kind of keywords they can actually obviously make a huge list of and use them on your website. Let's say any portfolio you post, any image you post, you can attach an alt text, which allows you to basically enter all the necessary keywords you need. And they're not visible, obviously, on the website, and basically build any blogs around those keywords, and keep mentioning those kind of keywords and services that you provide. And this will help you appear more to the client when it comes to Google search engine results pages. And yeah, and then number two, keeping your website optimized, which is obviously making sure it's mobile friendly, making sure there's the right things are on there: portfolio, contacts, a marketplace profile, which is really vital at the moment. A lot of clients and agencies and production companies and creative agencies, they actually like to hire people from marketplace profiles. So having one that actually proves a lot as well. And what else? Having all your services listed out there one by one, and then attaching portfolio posts to each one of them, and building case studies around it, and so on. And then number three, blogging, but blogging about the right kind of things that the client will be attracted to, not just oh, this is the top 10 tips for the upcoming freelancers, upcoming photography freelancers. Those would be just specifically based on appealing to the freelancing crowd rather than client crowd. So you would be more or less basing it on the client itself, about agency work, about the top trends in your field, the top trends in creative projects that you worked on, and so on. I included free tools when it comes to website optimization. I think all these free ones are free, at least free trials to use. This one is really, really good. It's called Right, I think, Right, RYT. Get more traffic and basically improves your website's usability, increases conversion rates a lot. So it actually gives you an audit of your website and what's good, what's bad, what needs to be changed. And you can actually do this every, I think 20 or 30 days for free, and basically check out what you actually can improve on. The small fixes, the small optimization fixes, you can actually improve to basically make sure your website is more found easily and is more basically centered towards clients. And then Google page speed inside as well. So basically allows you to check how your website is performing, is going on, and basically improves the speed as well over time. And most local listings score. So this is really, I think, specific for those creatives who actually are localized and specifically want to target localized regions. So basically check your listings and citations on Google, Google Maps, Facebook, Bing, and local search engines and dictionaries. One of the key things I think what a lot of creative freelancers need to do on Google for your website to be found more easily is to create Google My Business account, which is basically if you just type on Google My Business account, create account, you'll be able to actually create a business account and link your services, link your website, link any reviews that you have from clients, and so on there. And it actually helps a lot with SEO and website optimization, and for people to find you much more quicker. The next one is basically power of a great website. So there's 3 specific things that you should look at, which is number 1, tell them what you offer. Make sure the front page tells the client who you are and what you offer. Having a website basically builds not only your current clients, but also the future clients' kind of understanding of what you do, what you offer, and how you're different, the unique selling points. Providing an online portfolio. So make sure your portfolio is specifically analyzed and demonstrated in a way that you actually present the skills and convince the client of why they should choose you and your service or product rather than anyone else's when it comes to hiring you for projects. And that can be done by using case studies rather than just posting portfolio posts like images and videos. Posting those, but building the case studies from beginning to end of what you did, what is unique that you did, how did you work with the client, what reviews did you get from the clients, and so on. And then think about it as like a home for your content as well, which just adds to the portfolio. It helps you. A website basically itself isn't content marketing. You can actually basically just push out content and make sure it kind of like stays there, and it not only centered towards the people you send to your website, but also the people who find your website online. Ways to maximize your website, which is 3 ways. So shine on your services, outline your description, outline and describe all your services separately. So don't, if you're a freelancer, like let's say graphic designer who provides, let's say 7 services, let's say from branding, logos, music industry specific designs, posters, and so on, you should split all them up and then add them up separately, basically in columns, and then basically attach some portfolio images or portfolio work so the client can actually see, and case studies around it as well. And this is the best way for Google to actually have more keywords that they pick up from you and your website. And it actually helps you a lot when it comes to actually convincing the client that, oh, I'm an expert in all these fields, I'm good at all these fields, you should basically hire me for the service. And then keep your branding and site simple and to the point. Make sure it's, as I said again, the second time I'm saying is, it's mobile friendly. 80% of the people who find you will be looking at it from the mobile perspective. So make sure anything you post on your website can be seen the same way on the mobile, or even better way. Then feedback sells. Try to stay away from using good customer service as a selling point. Try to stay away from that kind of like business, like a corporate business kind of way of selling to people. There's something people expect from you. It's basically something a lot of people expect from you already, as you are providing a service, and it's something that isn't unique to anyone. So basically make sure you kind of like bite-size some quotes or positive feedback from previous clients and let this kind of speak for you rather than you sell it as a main key focus. use quotes and use feedback as the way to market. And lastly, cold emails, which is basically the specific points. What is the point of cold emails? So I like this quote from a business person used it quite a lot. And the email is not a sales pitch or a cover letter. It's about their business and how you can actually help. And that's basically really specific. It's basically saying you don't sell yourself, you sell the service you provide, and you basically convey to them how you can actually help their business. And it basically helps you build relationships, connect with potential clients, and add value immediately. Sorry, these kind of 4 steps are quite like big, so I'm struggling my face somewhere. Step 1, which is choosing your medium. So cold outreaches isn't limited to a single platform. You can actually choose LinkedIn, choose dots, choose emails, Gmail, and so on as platforms for your cold outreaches, or even Twitter and so on. It can be done anytime, anywhere. You choose that. Don't use any platforms for this. Specifically, I mean, for sending cold emails, I think you should send it from your Gmail because that's the best way to make sure it actually lands into it and it doesn't become spam. A lot of times people use Mailshake and other kind of platforms like that. I would say it costs a lot of money. They do help a lot because all you need to do is just drag or the contacts that you want to send the email to or the message to, and it sends it for you. And then you can actually create multiple steps, which is, let's say, sending the follow-up email and the third follow-up email and so on. And obviously that works quite well, but it costs a lot of money. So if you don't have that money, just stay away from them. That's why so basically selecting kind of like the best platform and the best medium is quite necessary. And I think the best way to do this is basically to test out and see what works, what doesn't work, what you can improve on, and so on. And then number 2 is basically figure out your ideal customers persona. You should be able to basically answer these kind of following questions, which is like, who are they, what their position. So you need to always, whenever, like I say, you look at cold email outreaches, or you should always look for those people on LinkedIn or the dots or anywhere else, and make sure you actually know who you messaging. Because a lot of times you might message a social media manager, or you might message a CEO or director of the agency who don't necessarily deal with recruitment at all. And he will definitely not forward your email, probably, if you don't really stand out to them, to the recruitment team. So you should always aim for knowing the right people in the right position to contact. And then what kind of company industry are they in? Also specifically notice your client persona and what do they need help with. You should specifically know if the things that that you can offer link to the client or not, and see basically how you can actually help them with, and how you can actually improve all of this. So how can you improve the entire business, entire scope that you follow with projects, and so on. Step 3, find a decision maker. So next you need to basically find a gatekeeper within the company you found. So after all these kind of questions that you answer, you have to find that person, the right person to message, the right person to email and connect with. Think of these kind of people as individuals in charge of whether or not your service will be accepted. So think of them like as recruiters, as project leaders, directors, and so on. And a lot of freelancers make mistakes of cold pitching customer service or generic kind of emails. That's guaranteed way to get emails deleted or even be classified as spam. So don't use any spammy language and any kind of marketing language as well. Just try to stay away from that. Try to be as personal and realistic as possible and why you basically contacting them. Number 4, which is successes in the follow-ups, basically. So most of the times you will never hear from anyone from the first email you send, or you'll hear like saying, oh, unsubscribe me from an email base, why are you emailing me, and so on. Other people basically only lead with the follow-up emails. So the next 2 basically follow-up emails. So it should be always the initial email, follow-up number 1, follow-up number 2, and sometimes number 3, which says, okay, cool, I will stop emailing you because I see there's no response or anything like that. And then, but still go ahead after like 2 months and email again and see if they do. So who are you messaging basically? These are the people with lots on a plate. So naturally a random email isn't going to orderly kind of pique their interest. They may be in need of your service or want to learn more, but they have colleagues and projects that come first, basically. So the follow-up emails kind of like bringing it back to them, and oh yeah, I forgot to message him or her. It's such a great candidate for a project that we have coming up, and so on. These are some tools that I wanted to present for cold outreaches, which is number 1, Discoverly, which is a Chrome extension, great for job hunters, sales recruiters, entrepreneurs like yourselves, and anyone kind of looking for an email address. So if you go on LinkedIn and let's say you message someone but they didn't reply, but you want to email them specifically, you can actually find emails through this Chrome extension. And then some email templates by Ryan Robinson, really famous ones that he has. He generated over 110K when it comes to his own freelancing side business. And these email templates actually are amazing. I linked them here as well. So all these are linked. So you can actually see and take notes from it. Don't copy, obviously paste it, because probably a lot of people did that. But just check them out and see what you can actually change in your own cold email outreaches. HubSpot, which is generating emails and leads, and actually helps you measure them as well. All these, by the way, are free. And then Streak, which is a CRM tool for Gmail, as well, a Chrome extension, and it actually helps you create a particular Gmail that you can actually create like your follow-ups with people you need to email back and so on. It's basically like a guideline for your Gmail and format, basically. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Think we're only 3 minutes above the time. By the way, we have a partnership with Zipcar. If any of you basically are a freelancer who works as a videographer and someone who needs to travel but they don't have their own travel car, so I'll send the link for Zipcar as well. So we have a free membership, so you don't have to pay anything, and some credit as well for you guys to get from as well. I'll stop sharing now. I have time for roughly like 2 questions. Any other ones I reply individually, and as always. So I'll try to look at it now. Hi Hubert, this is really insightful. Thank you. Thanks, Hannah. I have a hard time posting on Instagram because I don't want it to be fruitless, trivial, and posting on the sake of it. So whilst I'm confusing, sorry, we're just reading. So basically, her question is about her not wanting to post on Instagram just for the sake of posting on Instagram, because the process is quite frustrating and a lot of times not leading to anything specific to like client acquisitions and so on. And then she said, is it wise for me to not be posting whilst I design and plan future posts? I use stories occasionally to give an update of what I've been doing or up to or newly completed work. I think that's pretty much good. like if you don't see your Instagram, like let's say developing as quick as possible, or like as quick as you like it to be, I would definitely suggest you trying to maybe just post occasionally, like once a week, or like every 2 weeks or something like that, but continue posting, like let's say polls or quizzes or any kind of updates, any Q&A sessions, let's say asking your followers questions, or them asking you questions about your process of work, what you do, what you're currently up to. Just continue updating your stories, and you don't really have to post in order to get traction from Instagram. So I would say just continue posting on your story. Uh, Spend more time on creating quality post, and posting when you're ready, rather than just like post anything. With Buffer, is there also the option to drop in an image, other than the other embedded in the website? Yeah, of course. Like Buffer, you can actually select as many images and add them as much as you want, basically. Um, I don't have more time. I will reply to people. I'll look in the chat. I'll look at the YouTube as well. I will reply to most people, and the Q&As that are sent. So don't worry about that. If anything else, I love that you guys enjoy this, and I do hope you find it useful. For any webinars, I'll send a link in the follow-up email, of what we're actually going to be doing for the next few webinars. And they're quite fun when it comes to passive income, SEO, and so on. And for April, we're actually going to be hosting around 11 events, free events, and they're all going to be based on different topics. So quite marketing centric, but quite practical and so on. So I will be releasing them in the next 1 week. Thanks guys for joining today's session, and have a nice day. I'll reply to you and follow everyone who added everything. I see everyone still sending to panelists. So a lot of people who didn't, who do want to connect with people, make sure to resend a message to panelists and attendees, so everyone can actually see it more. So everyone can actually follow you. So I'll give you just 1 minute to do that if you like to. And yeah. Awesome, great. Just gonna give 1 more minute. Okay, cool, awesome.